Tiny me every goddamn time. Every time. Even tinier me. Me. Kind of me. Good morning, party people. I figured, is this actually something that's going on right now? Should we watch it? Is it being streamed? Tell me everything. Damn it. Is this being streamed right now? Are we missing a good, should we watch it? Should we watch it first? I have some hot tea, semi-hot tea, but maybe we need to do this. Okay, stand by 1 moment, please. I'll have to put the 12-page Odin report on the back burner. I said what I said. Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can find it. I've never done this before with streaming a trial. Oh, I see. Woof. All right, I need to find what channel. Damn it. Yes, I have the 12-page Odin report. I watched it yesterday. Thank you. Shit. Let's see. How do we do it? I mean, there's like other people that are streaming it. Let's see who's covering it. Is it on? I mean, I see Melanie Little. Does anybody know? Oh, it's a Zoom. All right. Well, so should we talk about Delphi then, or what? Up to you. I'm not going to stream another person's chat, or another person's thing, but let me see. Massachusetts. I'll leave it up to you fools. Okay. All right. Well, let's let a couple more people come in. Yeah, spread the news. So I'm going to drop a link to, now let's be clear. Okay. Let me back up. Let me back up. It's been actually a very busy morning around here. Well, okay, so let me clarify. What I have access to and what I'm going to share is the 12-page report written by Murphy. Now, much of it has been read into the record, and from, if you haven't listened to Criminality's reading of the transcripts, you really should. I'm not saying that I starred as Nick McClellan one day, but I did. What was he saying? I'm getting a text message. What am I trying to say? So where do we start? Let me get my notebook. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. If you have question marks, put it. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm going to make a link. I'm trying to figure it out. But again, so let me give you guys just circle up. Tell me. Okay, I can't pay attention to Osberg. Somebody handle him for me. Oh, okay. So it is the 12. It's the 12-page report. I don't know how much new information there's going to be. This morning, as I'm going to do with all of my office hours, is I'm going to start from the beginning and make a list, because listen, just trust me. Who? I don't know who the hell this is. No, Nobody trips me up. Who? I have no idea. Okay, you guys talk to yourselves, but all eyes, you know what to do. So this is what I'm doing. So I've made my bed. Check. Check. Then I have taken my morning pills. Not the morning after. I'm too old for that. Menopause. Taking pills. Check. Okay. Talk to Jody. Check. So we'll talk about that if you would like. We can start there. Oh. Yes, use the little question mark for the questions. Or say it with cash. You know, grifter's going to grift. No. But I do have news about Mr. Baldwin. Oh, I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, God damn it. I'm so old. As you guys know, I'm old. So I'm going to let whatever you people are. The menopause that refresh. Coming in hot, literally. Let's see. So I made my bed, I took my pills, fed the cat. I have the hallway door open because she's monitoring all deliveries to everybody in the hallway. Oh, girl. One time I accidentally took my morning meds twice. Oh, I am so sorry. It happens. Oh, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, I figure out how to get everybody a link to the report. So what I'm going to talk about today is what I know and don't know about Richard Allen being in Oklahoma, which is not a lot. So we're going to talk a bit about that and talk a little bit how that may have happened or may not have happened. I did talk to Jody this morning and have some updates for anybody that's looking for audio. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Carroll County, there was reference to Carroll County. And then I did have another call to Stacy Uliana for a request for comment about, so this is part of the Oklahoma thing, is I know there's been people mentioning, and again, we'll go through all of this, but this is my list. There's been word on the street is that Mr. Allen asked for this move and it's like this joyous event and all this other stuff. And listen, I don't know anything about it, but it doesn't seem like a joyous event to me. But I was going to call Miss Juliana, see if she had a statement for the record, just saying yes or no, that this was something that was done at their behest. And she's free to answer or not. So I sent an email to her because go direct. And then, oh, sure. I did want to talk a little bit about Mr. Rozzi, who is coming in hot. If you haven't been seeing his transcripts, woo, Nelly. There's some hot lawyering going on that I really am fond of. So we're going to talk a little bit about that at the because there's so many transcripts that need to be gone through. And this one is from, just so everybody has a reference, is from the May 7th hearing where the court basically says you get like 3 days to present, or you need to ask for a continuance, and Mr. Rozzi just lets her have it. It's a thing to behold. And then Odin, right? Okay. So here's the order of business. 1, Jody. 2, we can do Oklahoma or Odin first. Oklahoma. 3. From from Murphy. And what is it called? Supplemental report. And my, and my interview with Mr. Baldwin. So I think this can be our, why can't I pin my own fucking chat? Okay, so here's our order of business. Give me one moment. I just gotta gather whoever wants to see this report, and I'm going to actually, what's the best way, do you think, All Eyes? Do you think the best way to share the report is to just drop a link in like a Google Doc? Thoughts, prayers? Yeah, because this is, listen, this week, it's going to be a barn burner because I'm leaving it all in the field and then I'm leaving the country. Belts and braces, everyone. Belts and braces. Okay, so I'm getting the All Eyes telling me, oh, you changed your, aw, you're cute. Okay. So what I will do then is let me go to my thing, my Google Drive. Let me just upload this mofo. You know what? I'm going to upload it after I'm done because you know what? I do not want other dirtbags getting a hold of it. So I will share with you guys. I will. I swear to God. Let's see. Okay. So now again, question mark in front of the chat. Okay. So question mark if you want a question answered, or, you know, like I said, you can always say it with cash. Mama's going out of town. She's going to do a grift. So, by the way, a note on grifting. It's called a job. It's called a job. Journalists do jobs. And so fuck it. Last week, so let's recap. So last week, so where's my agenda? Damn it. Here it is. Okay. So Jody, last week, you know, obviously when the transcripts got released, and again, if somebody has the ability to throw a criminality link in the chat, that would be great because, oh God, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to pay any attention to you motherfuckers. So last week, transcripts came out. If somebody has a link to criminality, please link it, because I think that it's really, really important that people hear the pre-trial hearings, because I know I learned a lot from the pre-trial hearings. Holy hell. And I thought I knew stuff, but there were a couple of moments where I'm like, gasp. And again, everyone knows my position is I don't know if Mr. Allen is guilty or innocent. The only thing that I do know is that for a fact is that he did not get a fair trial. And I think that is my position. And I think that the more that we talk about that from a very pre-trial position, the better everybody's going to be. Now, that's my opinion. And I believe that. That's the way into this conversation, because we don't even get to guilt or innocence if we jump le shark. So I was thrilled to see that transcripts came out and that Teresa and Sleuthy and everybody's been jumping into the fray and reading it. And it is a lot of work. So please do check that out. So my thing was audio, right? And so I was like, well, now that the trial is complete, let's go for the audio, because under APRA rule X, Y, and Z. And actually, you know what? Hang on one second. I'm going to go get it, because there's actually chapter and verse on this. So one moment, please. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Get over here. Oh, easy cucumber. All right, we have to go get something. Okay. 2 does. Okay. All right. So she gets feisty. Bless her heart. Okay. So audio. And I know that Andrea Burkhart had weighed in on it. You know, she filed the original action. And Goal ruled she couldn't have access because of Rule 72, Trial Rule 72. Now, that seems fine, because that means that during, and again, this is from my unprofessional speculative reading, is that Trial Rule 72 is appropriate during the course of a trial. But once the trial is complete, as in done, all of the audio is part of the public record, as in, just to give you an idea, it is whatever. It's APRA rule, blah, blah, blah. Oh, A1, any document, anything that's created, collected, received, or maintained by a court, agency, clerk of court in connection with a particular case. So, and really the only thing binding it at this point, from what I'm going to leverage in my motion to intervene, is that 72 may have applied during the course of the trial. However, trial is concluded, which brings me to Jody. So, I called Jody with my hair on fire the other week, and some of you were on the call when I talked to Dawn, who was lovely, whatever. But Jody did call me back this morning, and I said, well, what I said was, I called last week about the transcripts and about charging the cost. Seemed exorbitant. I said, however, it seems like that's been resolved, because, the transcripts were released per public, rule, blah, bitty flu. And she said, and she was not happy. I can tell you that. She's like, so I said, well, I guess my question is basically moot now that the transcripts are out there. And she's like, yes, they're all over the internet. I'm like, yeah. I mean, they're all over the internet. Yes, correct. Welcome to America. And then I said, okay, so my next question is about the audio, and I want to have access to the audio, which is now part of the trial record. And before I even got it out of my mouth, she regurgitated the Goal order that may have been correct during the trial, but I contend is not correct now that the trial is over. She said, well, we aren't allowed to, only a party to the case per Trial Rule 72. And I said, well, but here's the thing. It's not in Judge Goal's court anymore, right? And she just kind of sat silent. And I said, 72 applied, blah, blah, blah. I give her my argument. which is like, who gives a shit? Who am I? But I said, so now under APRA, it's available because it's a part of the transcript. It's a part of the public record, right? And so, you know, I said, so I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying, because I need to put it into my pleading that you're telling me that you're refusing to give me the audio. Is that correct? And she said, we can't give you the audio. I said, okay. I said, so maybe I should go back to Carroll County, because now everything's filed and done and dusted, and they are the holders of all of the transcripts and the evidence. And I said, so maybe I can pursue getting the audio there. Do they have the audio? And she said, no. And then she said, yes, they do, but they can't release it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll call them and find out if that is in fact the case. I said, but I just need to make sure, and I'm going to follow up. And I told her this. I said, I'm going to follow up in an email to make sure that I have this correctly, that you're declining to share these things because of this rule, because I need to cite it. I need to make sure I cite it when I go for the audio. I said, you know, that's not how this reads. I said, so, anyway, it was like, click, thanks for nothing. So that was Jody. She did call back, bless her heart. So the takeaway from this, friends, is that everything goes through Carroll County now. My advice to anybody that is seeking any public information from the concluded criminal trial of Richard Allen should go through Carroll County. Take Jody out of the equation. She has nothing to do with it anymore. Period. End of discussion. Okay? End of discussion. There's nothing left to be said about that. She doesn't have anything. She doesn't have control over anything anymore. She really doesn't. She may try to act like she does, but she doesn't. The transcripts are in the wild. As they should have been. The exhibits are being released. You know, remove her from your list. Seriously. Remove her. Just, it's not, everybody needs to, and this is what I would encourage people to understand. Goal is not a factor anymore here. She's not. She needs to be shuffled on off to the dustbin of terrible memories. Carroll County are the custodians of this, because this is a Carroll County case. And Jody and Goal coming in like the mayor's wife, like they own all of this. They don't. The taxpayers of Indiana do, the public do. You know, we the people, right? And I think that we need to start acting like it. And yep. Jody, yeah, but you know what? All Eyes, I'm going to say that has to be pushed. So All Eyes is telling me that she's custodian for 20 years or whatever. She does. But the thing is that she doesn't, there's being a custodian, and then there's releasing public information. And that's the thing. And so I would just take her out of the equation completely. What I said to her was like, should I go through Carroll County for everything now at this point, since everything's been filed? And she said, yes. And I said, all right, that's what we'll do. And I did ask her about the money. And I said, so where did the $1? I said, so that's been returned, correct? And I said, was that because of the copying? Is that because you were going to send an actual hard copy? She said, yes. And I said, nobody wants a hard copy. You understand that, right? And she said, well, that's what it costs. And I said, well, I don't think it does. But okay, can you point me to that rule? And then shit just was like, whatever. I didn't even give a shit because my cat was hungry. And I had other shit going on. So I'm like, screw it. I'm done. I don't care. So that's Jody. Take her out of the equation. Just do it. She is not, she is a roadblock. Gull is a roadblock. This is public information. This is what people are entitled to. If we have the transcripts, if the media, if creators, if people have the transcripts or even access to a readout from the day, can you imagine how much different this could have gone? Right? Could you imagine how much differently this would have fucking gone? And so we need to be talking about it. And I'm going to be talking about it from that public access to information and how closely that's linked to the fact that I fundamentally believe that Mr. Allen did not get a fair trial. He didn't. He didn't. Okay. So anyway, what's next on my list? Oklahoma. Okay. So I've seen conflicting reports. I have no personal knowledge of any of this. But I do know that Mr. Allen has been moved to, at least it was on the website, the Oklahoma Department of Correction website, that he was moved first to the sort of, the medical whatever center before he was then sent to the max prison. So that's where he is. I have seen people making comments seemingly on behalf of Kathy Allen that this was, like this is some sort of joyful occasion that the family all agreed upon. I have no idea. That doesn't feel right to me. I mean, I could see a world where maybe you would want to be out of Indiana, but the point is he's gone. And keep in mind, now this guy's Robert Bastone. We know this guy, right? Yes. I believe so. I believe that's right. Because that's but it's called the Oklahoma State Penitentiary, I think. Lexington. Okay, I don't know. Somebody else have to look it up. So anyway, so Robert Bastone, people remember? Oh, there she is. Look at her go. All right. Do we remember him? He was that disgusting POS. He was moved to Oklahoma in April, I believe. Yeah. Was Rick Baston was the first to point out Rick was being accused. Sleuthy, what? Mistreated, right. So he was shipped out to Oklahoma. Did you guys know that? Yes, correct. So that's Sleutherson. That's your full given, that's your Christian name. Sleutherson points out here that Bastone was the first to point out that Rick was being abused. And I think that's what you mean. So yes. Now, he's a dirtbag. He's disgusting. But disgusting dirtbags, like clocks, can be correct twice a day. And without making excuses for how much of a piece of shit he is, he did bring up some, truthfully or not, he made the accusation, and that Mr. Allen was being abused. So, is he a liar and a pedo? Yes. Could he have been lying? You bet. But it's a coinky dink that they were sent to Oklahoma. Okay. So did everybody know that? Did everybody know that Bastogne was moved to Oklahoma? Now, the other thing I'm going to point out here is that there are interstate compacts between states. Okay, but does everybody know? Okay, yes. Okay. He is now in Oklahoma. Yes. Okay. So he is now in Oklahoma. But again, I'm removing the tinfoil hat for a moment because it's not, it could be because there is a contract existing. So this is going to be a nerd portion. Then we'll get to Odin, which is what everybody's here for. But it's important to understand that there are interstate transfers. This does happen. I know that I was talking to Kara over the weekend about how at one point, and maybe Michael knows this too, and maybe some of y'all from Indiana know this, but a few years ago, there was Arizona prisoners that were moved to Indiana. It went pear-shaped, and that was a big thing. But that interstate compact exists, and there's, who knows what kind of money is behind that, or the theory, I guess, is that it's to reduce overcrowding, but I don't know. So maybe they have a hot new contract with Oklahoma. I tried to go on their public information site of Indiana, their sort of checkbook. They have like a public site that you can go on to. It's how I found out how much money Goal's attorney for the original action cost, and to see if they had any sort of contract with Oklahoma. But he's there. I've reached out to Stacey Juliana to ask her for an official comment, right? California, they sent him to a bunch of different states. Yeah. I mean, so it does happen. Now, whatever. So we'll find, hopefully, there's a lot going on with all of the people putting information out there, the new Hulu documentary, some new podcast, supposedly, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but then you have people posting saying, that this was a triumphant, joyous move. I don't know. But I'm going to reach out to appellate counsel, because what I do know is that the state of Indiana is going to end up paying a lot more money for his appeal if he lives. Why? Because in order to put on an appeal, Juliana is going to have to haul ass out to Oklahoma at least a few times, right? To meet with her client. I mean, putting him in Westville was hard enough for defense counsel to communicate with him. Let's just move him to a whole ass other state. I don't know. There could be maybe he was under threat. Maybe he was whatever. The last I heard, whatever. He's there. Hopefully we're going to find out why. So that is Oklahoma. Any other questions on Oklahoma? Oklahoma questions? Anyone? This is a good question, but at some point they're going to need to, and I mean, Osbrook might be better positioned, but my assumption is that, if it were me, it's my husband sending me, I sent him a picture of the cat and he sent me a picture, like, sweet baby. Anyway, so, I mean, I would want to sit down. Yeah, I mean, I would want to sit down in front of him. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to, but I would think even if they're granted a hearing, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it should happen in person. Call me crazy. I am Gen X though, so I work on paper, um, and face to face. So I thrive in that area. But whatever. So we'll see. We'll see if it was his choice or not. I just hope he's safe and that we figure out what the hell's going on. So now, um, okay, Odin. Let's see. How's everybody doing? I really don't know if you're doing that. All right, hang on. Let me share. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's why I'm like, I don't think they are. So that's why it seems real questionable. Um, wait, what? Who does? Well, whatever. We're going to find out. Hopefully. So let me present to you. Share screen. I think this is it. Is that it? Nope. That ain't it. Here we are. Okay, let me share this. So now's a good time to get some coffee. Buckle up. I mean, you know, yo. So get some coffee, grab your kids, your monkey's uncle, your mom, your sisters, whoever, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your ambidextrous friend. So this is, here we go. This was sent to me through an anonymous source. And farts. Let's see here. So live with this for 1 minute. I'm going to get some coffee. I'll be right back. Everybody get some coffee. This is the 12-page Murphy Odin report, which very much of it is going to be repetitive, but it's in the zeitgeist. So I'll be right back. I'm going to get some coffee. Let me see if you can you see the cat? There she is. All right. Hi, baby. Oh. Hi. You doing? You airing it out, sweetie? Okay. All right. So, where was I? Okay. So, what is wrong with you? I'm going to put you in timeout. Yeah, I don't care if you do visit the prison or not. I'm saying if I was the lawyer doing an appeal, I would want to. So suck it. Also, DB, suck it. Okay, so let's talk about the Odin report, shall we? So, to my understanding, there are two different reports that are attached to the Franks memo. And these, I think, are starting to come out because of the Hulu documentary that's in the offing, right? Okay, so that's what's on the screen. I don't know if people can see it or not, but that is what is on the screen right now. So it's a supplemental report, and this was, if you listen to T. Sleuthy and assorted folks reading the 3-day hearing trial transcripts, you're probably familiar with a lot of this, okay? But this is from the actual report. And honestly, it wasn't, it's funny. Oh, we'll just start. Okay, so Delphi supplemental report, and this was written by Officer Murphy, so, or whatever his title is. And in it, he captures the course of events that he, including him and Ferenczi, rest in peace, interviewing people. Now, there's also phone numbers and certain, I gotta hide the chat because I can't look at it. Let's see. Can everybody see it? So this was, yeah. So it was part of the supplemental report. My understanding, there's also like an 85-page report. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but this has, you know, names that everybody's heard. And like I said, I think this is probably starting to make the rounds because of the Hulu documentary. Anyway, so it's called the Delphi Supplemental Report, written by Murphy. This just is laid out pretty clearly. So he talks about Elvis Fields, and he's recounting his investigation. January 2018, interview of Mary Jacobs by ISP troopers Murphy and Purdy. Okay. And I will share this after the live. Okay. Okay. Jacob states that on February 14th, she picked up Elvis Fields in his trailer park and took him back to her house. The purpose of this was that Elvis was going to work on Jacob's vehicle engine. Jacob says that Elvis was rambling, hyper, and borderline incoherent. Elvis was talking about having a brother and being part of a gang now. States he was on a bridge with two girls that were killed. Tells her Abigail was a pain in the ass and a troublemaker. She said that Elvis tried to give her blue jacket he had in his possession. She was unaware of any missing or murdered girls and refused to take the jacket, telling him she had her own jackets. Questions? Anybody? Okay. February 18th. So moving on. February 18th. Oops. Damn it. February 18th. Trooper Holman and Murphy interview Elvis Fields at Rushville PD. Let's see. Elvis denied. So again, 2018. Elvis denied being part of any murders in Delphi. Elvis consents to DNA swab buccal taken by Murphy. Elvis ends interview stating he's tired and wants to go home. Murphy drops off Elvis at his residence in a trailer park. Elvis exits car and starts walking towards his trailer. Elvis then turns around and comes back to Murphy's car. Elvis asked Murphy if he had spit found on one of those girls, but he could explain it away, would he still be in trouble? Okay. We all know that. We've all heard it. Now he goes on to Elvis Field's cell phone. Okay. A records check shows that Elvis's cell phone sits on a tower closest to his residence. It is not used / active from 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. approximately. The phone is then used to call AutoZone in Rushville several times. It is unclear to me because he doesn't put the dates in here, but I'm assuming this is running against the dates of the murder. Gotta be, right? Gotta be. Okay. Oh, I think we get at it later, actually, now that I think about it. Okay, so next. Interview. So we're back to interview of Elvis Fields on June 20th. So later that year. February, Holman and Murphy. Now we're at Elvis Fields, June 20th, 2018 at Rushville PD. Elvis interviewed by Ferenczi and Murphy. Elvis states that he was not in Delphi on 12/13/2017. Says he was in Rushville. Claims some of his unusual Facebook posts were, quote, just decorations he likes to make. Elvis tells interviewers he was not in a gang. Now, this part is important. Gangs were never mentioned by interviewers. So I read that as Fields gave up this information without having any context. So offered up this information without it even being mentioned. So the question wasn't asked like, hey, you in a gang, bud? Gangs were never mentioned by the interviewers. Elvis agrees to a polygraph. Then a few days later, a lawyer contacts Murphy stating she any more contact with Elvis must go through her. Okay. So moving on. Ferenczi and Murphy interviews the family members. Ex-girlfriend and mother of Elvis Fields Jr. states that Elvis was fascinated with railroad trestle. He tried to get her to cross one near their residence several times. Daughter, I should have blocked that out. Damn it. Too late now. Tiffany, I mean, it's going to be public record. Okay. Tiffany stated that Elvis became enraged when he found out she was having a child with a Hispanic male. Daughter also stated that she was at Elvis's apartment once when he lived in Connersville. He claimed that there were demons in his closet. He then ran outside with a knife, yelling on the street that he would kill any African Americans that he saw. Tiffany recalled that her mom was upset that Elvis had money to go to Lafayette, Indiana, but no money to pay child support. What's up? It's my cat. Thoughts? Anybody? I got to put my one second. I got a cat thing. All right, I'm gonna have to put my earbuds on. Any questions, anyone? Okay, can you guys still hear me? Because I'm gonna try to begin this. Okay. So, and I have my yield earbuds on because I might have to move. Okay. Ex-girlfriend, so we went through that. So to Lafayette, Indiana, but no money to pay child support. August 8th, 2018, interview of Joyce Moffett, Elvis's sister. In October 2017, Elvis moves into the residence of his sister, Joyce Moffett, in Dunkirk, Indiana. Approximately 2 weeks after moving in, Elvis approaches Joyce out of the blue and tells her he was on a trail and a bridge with two girls that were killed and that he was going away for a long time in regards to the above statement to Joyce. Hang on. Sorry. He was going away for a long time. Okay. In regards to the above statement, Joyce first denied any knowledge of Elvis telling her the above. She then started repeating what she heard her sister tell us. Joyce then challenged us to make Elvis take a polygraph and said, quote, "and then you will know." When we told her Elvis has so far declined to take a polygraph, she began crying. She then yelled out and apologized to her deceased father and gave the above statement. Yeesh, this is kind of heartbreaking, weird. Ugh. Okay. August 2018, Jennifer Melton, per phone. Jennifer is Elvis's ex-wife. Jennifer states that she was married to Elvis for 8 years. They had two children, Jason and Tiffany. She stated Elvis was constantly abusive towards the kids. His abuse got worse towards her after the kids were born. She states Elvis chased Jason out of the house with a shotgun and when Jason was 19 years old. When Tiffany was 16 years old, she had to pick her up from Elvis's house because he was outside the residence with a knife, yelling that he would kill African Americans. She stated Tiffany suffered spiral fracture in her arm while under the care of Elvis and his parents. God almighty, y'all. I should have done a trigger warning. I didn't realize. Jennifer said that Elvis was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but he rarely took his meds prescribed. He would, quote, go nuts when not on meds. Tiffany recalled, let's see. Tiffany recalled one time she locked him out of the house after he battered her. The remembered him yelling at her, saying that he was going to kill her. When he got back in, she believed he was in possession of a knife at the time of the incident. When asked if Elvis ever carried a weapon on him, she stated he carried a, quote, boot knife. Jennifer stated that she found it odd early in their relationship that Elvis and his mother would go. Oh, God. Y'all, hang on. What? Oh, God. I didn't realize this was in here. Oh, my God. I don't know. This makes me feel weird. Did we know this? Okay. Jennifer stated she found it odd. Maybe we did already kind of know this in the sort of ether. Jennifer stated that she found it odd early in their relationship that Elvis and his mother would go into the bathroom together. She claimed Joyce told her years ago that Elvis's mother would perform oral sex on him when he was a young child. Now, I just want to be clear that this is from a police report. This is from an ex. I am not getting into the weeds here. I don't know. This is all just what's in the 12-page report. Okay. And I think maybe I got to check with my people. Nobody knew. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to, that's pretty much all about that. Sorry. She does not recall which city Elvis was going to regarding the Tiffany statement, just that it was north of Indianapolis. She said that Elvis owned guns, but they were all rifles and she never saw any handguns. She stated that Elvis was an accomplished fisherman and hunter. He would often spend long periods of time in the woods. She heard after their divorce, he would camp/live in the woods when he was homeless. Okay. Mary Jacobs records Elvis Fields August 31st, 2018. So she is making, I guess she's now deciding to, I don't know, do her own investigation. I mean, right? I don't know if it's for entertainment, but yeah, it's, you know, well, some of the things, okay, so some of the things that did come out in the transcript reading were mentioned. So again, if you haven't listened to, and I encourage, and this is why I think it's really, really critical for people to read the 3-day hearing, the July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. Okay, because um, the the fact is, yeah. Anyway, because some of this, they Click very forcefully make some statements in that 3-day hearing that that leaned into some of the. So I mean, there's and a lot of it was inferences, but I think that it's really critical that people look at this in the light of what was talked about in the transcript, because some of this was absolutely talked about in the transcripts from those 3-day hearings when Murphy and Click testified, and in some of the motion, some of the motion practice. So I think that's another thing too, is like we're not talking about the motion practice here as well. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. So I do think some of this was out there, but it's nice to see it all in one place. Okay, Mary Jacobs records Elvis Fields, August 31st, 2018. Prior to August 31st, 2018, Elvis and Mary had only spoken one other time since February 14th, 2017. This was in April of 2017. On August 31st, 2018, Mary picked up Elvis walking down the road in Rushville. Mary had previously purchased an audio recorder several months earlier. She turned on the recorder when Elvis got into her vehicle. Elvis said he was unaware of the recording. The drive to the Elvis's trailer, and Mary goes inside. Joyce is present. 28 minutes into the conversation, Mary brings up the February 14th, 2017 conversation. She asks Elvis if she remembers giving her a blue jacket and then giving it back, saying she did not want it. Elvis acknowledged this. Mary mentions that the police have been to her house to ask questions about Elvis' possible involvement in the Delphi murders. Elvis said he is tired of people accusing him of being involved in the Delphi murders. He then says, like I told them, what are you going to do? Dig up the ground where I took a piss and say, oh yeah, we got him. Note, Elvis never said this conversation. Elvis never had this conversation or gave this statement in either of his interview. Mary brings up their actual conversation. Elvis denies remembering what they said and that he was to leave and departs from trailer. Elvis Fields has numerous Facebook pages. One of his current pages, he has a limit of 5,000 quote friends. Approximately 75% of these friends are young Filipino and Asian girls. Yikes. Woof. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I kind of feel that way. And you know, again, this has not been adjudicated, any of this. So I think that you have to take it as talking, you know? I mean, it's not important. It's not, I mean, it certainly was part of the investigation. But as you can see, how many pages are we into this? Jesus Christ, we're only two? Huh? 3 pages. No, we're only 2 pages into it. God. Okay. No mention of Odinism, right? Yet. Um, Yikes. I'm trying to think of how much we want to go into this. And how much should be left for another time, because we're going to start getting into a lot of places, and supposed telephone numbers. I know you want it all, but I'm saying that from my perspective, I'm just trying to think of what's helpful or not. Because here's why, guys. Here's why, guys. Here's why. Because I am going to be, I've reached out because I have questions. I have so many questions. Um, uh, Sorry, I've got one moment. This is my actual job. 1 minute, please. Ba, 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 ba. I want to make sure I don't run into, is there readings going on the transcripts today? Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this down for one hot second. Okay. Going to do a little redacticon just on a couple of things. And oh, there's like 12 pages. There's a lot. Okay. Tonight or this afternoon. Hey, Legal Lacy. Okay. All right. Hang on one second. What I'm going to do, please stand by. Mm, 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 mm. We will continue, but I do want to make sure I'm doing it responsibly. And I should have looked at it a little bit further or a little bit more intensely before I shared it. So apologies. Talk amongst yourselves for a hot second, and I am going to talk amongst yourselves for a minute. One moment. Can you hear me? No, no, that's what I'm saying. So I obtained this. Okay. This is not, I mean, it's my understanding from the many moving parts and pieces with all of the new media coming out around this case. Okay. Um, is that this is part of what documentarians or podcast, whoever it is, used to research third party suspects. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say who did it. I'm not going to say who gave it to me because I don't, and I don't need to. And so all y'all can go fuck yourselves if you think that I owe you any receipts. Not you guys. You guys are the best. So, but what I want to do again, okay, so talk amongst yourselves. I can only do one thing at once. Everybody talk amongst yourselves. Mm, 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 mm. Make myself wee. Um, okay, hello. So I've made okay, I'm back. Hello. Can any, what did you just say? Oh, God. I don't know about that yet. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for the super sticker. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I don't know anything about that yet. Like I had mentioned earlier, sorry, here's what I'm trying to do in real time is make a decision about how I'm moving forward with this report in a responsible manner. The decision I've made that is I am going to read it aloud and I'm going to redact certain things on the fly because I didn't do that appropriately. But I will have a copy available after the fact. I'm not sharing it right now because I'm not. That's my prerogative, but I will be. Okay. I don't know anything about Oklahoma. I would be interested to find out more because we can do office hours and I can try to make a call. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to continue reading, but again, I am. I'll put up the front page just sort of because I already read it for fuck's sake. But I want to make sure that I think thoroughly through the how much of the phone numbers and things that come up in this, how much I can share. Okay. So what's all Sharon? Okay. Thank you very much. Y'all. Okay. So shall we? I'm going to put this back up, but you're not going to see it moving. Okay. You're just going to have to live with it. I'm trying to. Give me a second, folks. Did you see my new avatar? Do you like it? Okay. All right. So give me 2 minutes here and I'm going to continue reading. I'm on page 3 and there's 12 pages. So I'm going to try to blow through this because I know that there's some folks doing some reading out there. Later this afternoon of the transcripts. Okay, so we're moving on to Rod Abrams, but as I'm told you, I am not going to put it up on the screen as I'm going to redact on the fly. So here we go. And I hope you like my new avatar because I feel like Nick should be reading this. Okay, so Rod Abrams. Rod was living with Elvis on February 13th, 2017. And just a mic check. Anybody? Hello? Everybody can hear me? Hello? Hello? Can everybody hear me? Okay. Thank you, Radar. Okay. Okay. Abrams, let's see. Rod was living with Elvis Fields on February 13th, 2017. Elvis and Rod worked for Ned Smith paving business. He was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon, a knife, and parents in Osceola County, Florida on January 13th, 1998. Abrams interviewed by Murphy and Ferency on August 29th, 2018. Abrams was agitated that we were talking to him at first, but calmed down. He stated that Ned Smith, Elvis, and himself were in Muncie, Indiana, visiting a sick friend in the hospital on 2/13/2017. When asked if Elvis had his cell phone on him, Rod said yes. When asked if he had his cell phone with him while in Muncie, he stated yes. When told that we would check cell phone records to see if they were at the Muncie hospital, Abrams stated that hospitals cut cell phone reception on phones because they interfere with hospital equipment. So their phones probably not show they were at the hospital in Muncie. Nothing weird about that. That was me. That was me editorializing. Okay, back on the record. Robert Thomas. Elvis Field's neighbor in the trailer park, Robert Thomas, lived at 201 North Robinson Street, Delphi, Indiana. Whoa. Huh. Wait a minute. Elvis Field's neighbor lived at 201 North Robinson Street, Delphi, Indiana. Thomas moved from Delphi back to Rushville, Thanksgiving 2015. He died of an overdose on 9/3/2016 in the Rushville trailer. According to friends and family interviewed, Robert let family and friends from Rushville at the Delphi house. It is unknown if Elvis ever stayed there. Now, there's an insert here, folks, of that says that photos of tattoos obtained from prior Elvis arrests in Rush County, many show white supremacy type symbols. Okay, moving on. Brad Holder. Again, this is back to the report. Brad Holder lives in Logansport, Indiana. His son Logan Holder was, quote, dating Abby. Holder served in U.S. Army with Patrick Westfall. Both were deployed in Afghanistan. Practices Asatru religion, is very devout about it. Formed an Asatru, quote, tribe called the Tribe of Gunnir's Path. I don't know, Gungnir Path. And apparently in parens, it says this is Odin's magical spear, end parens, with Patrick Westfall. Holder makes his own Viking-style knives and weapons, takes pictures of sticks, trees, and natural formations in the woods that he believes is the god/Odin talking to him. Also arranges sticks into Asatru-style symbols and runes. Many of them that are posted on his Facebook page are very similar to the Delphi crime scene. Traveled to Delphi often to practice Asatru with Westfall. He often brought Logan with him. During one of these Asatru meetings, Logan met Abby at Canal Park in Delphi. According to Logan's statement, this meeting took place the second weekend of January 2017. Holder was a Vinlander, quote, hang around, not a formal member or probate. Facebook page dated January 22nd, 2017, with Westfall in Delphi, claims he was at work, got off around 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. He states he went to Anytime Fitness, said he got a text from Logan at an unknown time on 2/13/2017, simply saying, quote, she's missing, end quote. Other known Facebook names, Steve Rogers. Questions? Any questions, comments? If somebody needs to get rid of DB, please feel free. Does anybody have? Okay, so update. Thank you. I'm assuming, low light, this is about Oklahoma. Ooh, coffee and smoke. Thank you. I don't smoke anymore, but man, I do have an emergency pack of Parliaments because that's how I roll. I won't be smoking them. I may just eat them. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think that, so let's just pause here for a minute and reconnoiter, right? So So far, the thing that people fail to realize, and the non-critical thinkers out there, and the murder sheet of it all, and the fuckery, and the lack of transparency and media reporting, didn't understand the underlying issue is they're a gang, right? And I think that it's fascinating that people don't think that this kind of thing happens in, uh, you know, rural America, right? Let me tell you something. I'm from rural America. Ain't nothing going on but cornfields. Now, look, meth was way, I come from land before time when meth was a thing. But what I can tell you was there are a lot of stone cold racist motherfuckers out there. Nobody that I knew would kill somebody. At least I don't think so. But that doesn't mean shit. It happens. One of the biggest things that runs wild is, I'm going to say it, sexual molestation of children. And to me, this is not some wholesome countryside, right? It's not some wholesome countryside. So when people dismiss this kind of thing out of hand, they're stupid. Minnesota. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Bradley Dean? Anyway, but the thing is that, yes, all of that. Unite the right. You bet. You bet. I mean, as many of you know, I am a recovering alcoholic, even though some jackass wanted to say that I'm not. So go fuck yourself. Hard. Back in the day, all we would do is go sit out with I'm talking like the 80s, right? Was it the 80s? Jesus Christ. Anyway, you go out to cornfield and you sitting around and you drink a bunch of beer. You go driving. The shit that we got up to, the train trestles we climbed. That's the other thing that never really rang true to me with this is that everybody, if that trail was out by my house when I was 13, 14 years old, you can bet your ass we would be out there every weekend. And yes, that young, right? Give me a break. Give me a break. So the idea that this is not possible or that this is some fantastical thing because it's connected to Odin, fuck you. Because the thing is it doesn't matter what they call themselves. It doesn't. Doesn't matter what they call themselves. Doesn't matter what they say they believe. It boils down Southern Poverty Law Center, white supremacist repackaged. Proud Boys, call them what you want. They're all just flavor of the month. And we all know that the KKK was very active um, throughout this whole time period, right? All the way up through. So anyway, where was I? So has anybody, I'm going to ask some questions now of chat. Ned Smith, do we know anything? I know I remember hearing about that a little bit in the trial transcripts. Does anybody know how far Delphi is from Rushville? Not very far, right? Yeah, you bet. 100%. That's what the KKK is. They're a bunch of, what do you call it? Aryan bullshit. Nonsense. Disgusting. Okay, so it's a 4 or 5 hour drive. Now back me up, rural folk. Who among us wouldn't drive 4 or 5 miles for a sweet, sweet party? 4 or 5 hour drive. Now, I don't think that's a big jump because I think that there's some, well, I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse, but they're during the 3-day hearing, they make it sound like, Nick makes it sound like it would be just unreasonable and wacky for somebody to drive from here to there. It's like, Nick, I look at you, buddy. I know you've driven further than that for whatever. You know, Rushville. 2. Okay, 2 hours. Okay. Who among us, right? You kidding me? There's some sweet, sweet crank out there. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying that the way it was teed up at trial was like this was just some unfathomable idea. Do you know how far we drove one night to go see Dokken and Aerosmith? Yes, I said it. I said it. Dokken and Aerosmith. You're welcome, America. So, moving on. Again, I'm just putting up the cover page because I don't feel comfortable going through all of it. It was everybody was a bunch of shit-faced teenagers in Iowa. Hence why I'm now sober 23 years. Go fuck yourself, Robin. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So where we left off is that Brad Holder stated that in a post dated on January 22nd, 2017 with Westfall and Delphi, claims he was at work, got off between 2 and 4 p.m. Now, I didn't know that time frame. Between 2 and 4 p.m. is what Brad Holder is claiming. He states he then went to Anytime Fitness, says he got a text from Logan at an unknown time on February 13th, 2017, simply saying, quote, she's missing. Other known Facebook page names, Steve Rogers. So hope the cranks got that. So the next thing that Murphy goes into here is Elvis Fields and Brad Holder. Sorry, I've got to clear my throat. So Osbrook, just fuck off. Okay. Elvis Fields / Brad Holder. Elvis mimicking various and numerous Facebook posts that are on Holder's Facebook page. Logan Holder, : Logan was 16 years old on February 13, 2017, claims he was Abby's boyfriend and that they spoke every day per social media messaging. Stated he was introduced to Abby per Liberty in December 2017. They once met at Canal Park the second week of January 2017. Okay. Anything? (2017) Sleuthy. So it must have meant 2016. It must be a typo, right? Oh, you know what? Sorry. This could mean one of two things. Actually, let me scroll down here because this one's okay, and I need a little hive mind. Let me put this back up. Hive mind. Sorry, guys. Boot knife did that. Okay. So this is the part I just read. So I think it could be read as this is Detective Murphy interviewing or writing down a statement from Logan Holder that Logan was 16 years old on February 13th, claims he and Abby was Abby's boyfriend. They spoke every day per social media message, stating he was introduced to Abby per Liberty in December 2017. They once met at Canal Park, second week of January 2017. So this could be read as a typo. This part right here. This could be a typo, or this could be upon talking with Logan. Either way, it was December 2016, right? So thank you for picking that up, Slutherson, which is, as I said, your Christian name. Listen, man, uh, I I was raised by Roman Catholics. You'd be amazed at the weird shit we do. You kidding me? I got, well, I'm not gonna get into what I got, but woo, people, we do blessing of the throats with candles at a darkened church. You want to talk about weird shit? Hello. So yeah, listen, any path to the waterfall, I'm for it. I'm for it. There ain't nothing wrong with being a pagan, Christian, a nothing, an atheist, probably the easiest way. Yeah, I mean, right? Yeah, Saint Blaise, you betcha, 100%. Blessing of the throats. Where are my Catholics? Yes. Oh, I spent most of my childhood going to catechism being scared shitless. Yeah, straight weird. Listen, I'm a social justice Catholic. That's it. Um, let's see. Okay, so let's go back and let's see. So moving on, we move on to Patrick Westfall. And again, I'm going to just keep it right there on that page. I'm not going to forward it through until I get to a point where I feel we can move it forward. I hope everybody gets that. And if you don't, you don't. C'est la vie. Patrick Westfall served in the U.S. Army with Holder, combat duty in Afghanistan, on disability for PTSD claims, lives in Delphi, has prior Flora, Indiana address, practices Austrian religion, claims to be a type of priest for it, member of the tribe of Gunjinger, Herb Gerflinger. Anybody? Does anybody know what the hell that means? I don't know what the hell that means, but okay. Gunjer? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Herb Gerflinger. Herb Gerflinger. Gerb Herflinger. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um, appears with Holder approximately 10 times in photos with Holder prior to 12/13/2017. He appears in none after 2/13/2017. Huh, that's weird. States he is often in the woods around Monon High Bridge with kids. Has video on Facebook page cutting down ash trees in the dark with a chainsaw. Okay. I mean, who among us though, right? Who among us hasn't done that, right? Nothing weird there. I It's like that great 80s song. I use my chainsaws at night so I can see. Uh I use my chainsaws at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. Hashtag if you know, you know. Note, one of the sticks on Abby had a clean, straight saw type cut. States on 12/13/2017, he was home with his son all day. States they were going to join a search party on 12/2/14/2017, but the girls were frowned prior to them arriving. Vinlander probate on 2/13/2017. Other known Facebook page names: Jaeger Tyerson, Patrick Donovan, claims he is some type of Asatru priest slash holy man. Okay, right. So now we're on to Johnny Messer. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Who's this? I hope maybe they'll come back on D&D. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Oh. I'm starting to think that all eyes might be the actual tip of the spear. Okay, so let's move on. So Johnny Messer, currently home in Dentonville, in home detention in Rushville, Indiana, on methamphetamine-related charges, Fourth Amendment waiver. Interesting. Vinlander probate with Westfall on 2/13/2017. Now, does anybody know how on earth that information became available to law enforcement? I mean, honestly, I honestly don't know how that would become available. Okay, great. So Rick is there and was counted at head count. I let them know well, yeah, I mean, believe is innocent, and as I say, low light. The one thing that I do know is that he did not get a fair trial. And I think the more that people read transcripts, yeah, yeah. So thanks for that update. Okay, keep moving on. Johnny Messer, home detention. Vinlander probate with Westfall in 2/13/2017. He was friends with both Holder and Westfall on 2/13/2017. Claims he does not speak with them now. Claims he was kicked out of Vinlanders for fist fighting with Indiana leader Mickey McKinley. Knows Elvis Field. States Elvis lived with his uncle, would bring him firewood because the residence he lived had no power. Of his claims, he does not know Holder, Westfall, or Messer. Stated, quote, they might know me, but I don't know them, end quote. Messer claims to have an SOS stomp on sight out on him from the Vinlanders due to the fight with McKinley. Denies being in Delphi on 2/13/2017 or driving Elvis to Delphi. Denies ever being in Delphi. States Holder would attend social functions and meetings at McKinley's house in Indianapolis. Says Holder defeat. Oh, oh, says Holder. Y'all, God damn it. Says Holder defecated on McKinley's couch and went outside of McKinley's house with a gun and started yelling that he hated African Americans. This sounds right. I'm just going to say, this sounds right for a bunch of racist douchebags, right? This tracks. Holder was brought back into the house and, quote, beat up by McKinley. Messer states he is not in the Austro religion. Messer has a mixed child with an African American woman. I'm just going to step in here and say, I don't care. You can still be a racist motherfucker. All right. I think that we know that, don't we? Give me a break. He claims Vinlanders had no problem with this, with his quote, mixed race child. Claims that Holder is a little weird and could be capable of harming somebody, but Westfall would not be capable of murders. Messer said he was only active in the Vinlanders in Indiana, and McKinley was as well as Westfall and himself as probates. So now we get into Taylor Hornaday, ex-girlfriend of Johnny Messer, together on 2/13/2017. Interview number 1 is on October 25th, 2018. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and read this. Taylor, now there's nothing weird so far. I mean, it's better than what the VP does to couches, right? Um, okay, so Taylor Hornaday, now interviewed by Assistant Chief Todd Click. Taylor stated that Messer told her the police had questioned him regarding Delphi murders and that he would probably be calling her they would probably be calling her for an interview. She said Messer had an SOS, stomp on sight order by the Vinlanders. Now, if anybody remembers American History X, you know what the stomping means, right? I mean, you know, um, yeah, exactly. That was my feeling. Stomp on side order. Um, so she said Messer had stomp on side order on him by the Vinlanders. She was tired of him hanging out with them so much and not her. She told McKinley about a mixed race child that Messer had fathered with an African American woman. This is against Vinlander bylaws, and Messer's probate status with him is pulled. She said that Messer refused to turn over his Vinlander items, and that is why the SOS order was put out on him. She stated that Patrick Westphal eventually came to Rushville, and she gave him Messer's Vinlander items. Taylor had gone to Vinlander meetings with Messer, held at McKinley's house in Indianapolis. This is where she met Patrick Westphal and Brad Holder. She talked more with Westphal and acted like and liked his girlfriend, Rachel Miller. I don't know who she is. She did not talk much to Holder. She found him, quote, creepy, made her uncomfortable. During one meeting that Holder did not attend, the other Vinlanders brought up that they heard Holder was a possible suspect in a murder in Florida. They did not want Holder hanging around with them anymore due to possibility it may bring, quote, heat down on them. She said during meetings, the men would separate from the females and drink. Oh, God, you know what, men? Sorry. To drink from a horn during ceremonies. Taylor said that Messer was introduced to the Vinlanders by Brian James. We all know that name. She said that Messer claimed to be part of the Hammerskins. And again, everybody, look up the Hammerskins. Southern Poverty Law Center has excellent reporting on this. The Hammerskins when he was younger. She said that Messer told her he had done horrible things and should be in prison. He was never specific in details. She knows that Westphal is from Delphi, and she assumed Holder was from the same area as Westphal. Introduced Holder to the Vinlanders. She said both Westphal and Holder had brought their kids to the Vinlander meeting at one time or another. She witnessed kids taking part of the ceremonies and drinking from the horn. So, like church picnic. That was my 2 cents. Okay, moving on. Taylor confirmed that her a Messer saw. That's a typo. Taylor confirmed that Messer saw the news report of Delphi murders later in the week on TV. Confirmed she made a statement that she hoped Holder and Westphal were not involved. Messer also took a guy named Josh Stevenson to meetings. There was a male by the name of, quote, Dougie that hung around the Vinlanders. She described Dougie as oh dear. She described Dougie as a lower functioning mentality and was, quote, not all there. They took advantage of Dougie to perform menial tasks for them. Dougie stopped coming around the Vinlanders after another group gave him a jacket and some patches. She stated that Westphal, Messer, and McKinley went to Minnesota, hey-o, for a Vinlander event. Somebody was in the chat from Minnesota. Vinlander event in March of 2017. So that's something, right? Hang on. So were you the one that mentioned Minnesota and like a white racist bunch of weirdos hanging out? Because apparently, okay. Yeah, so this is the part. So it says in here that they took advantage of Dougie, okay? She stated that Westphal, Messer, and McKinley went to Minnesota for a Vinlander event in March 2017. So Minnesota, March 2017, Vinlander event. So maybe we should look into that, huh? That feels right. Feels like there might be some nexus there, some synergies. This was decided to tell McKinley about the Okay, she said this is the final straw for her regarding Messer spending too much time with them. This is when she decided to tell McKinley about the mixed race child Messer had. Taylor stated that Westphal and Messer were like brothers. She claims Messer was friends with Holder, but not to the extent he was with Westphal. She stated that they communicated using Facebook Messenger. She said that Westphal cut ties with Messer after he was kicked out of the Vinlanders. However, she did not know if they started talking again after her and Messer broke up. She states all the Vinlanders were into Odinism. She stated that Holder and Westphal talked about making their own weapons in the form of knives and hammers. Toward the end of the interview, Taylor stated she remembered her and Messer were fighting around Valentine's Day in 2017. The fight was due to the fact that Messer was, quote, up there in the Vinlanders around Valentine's Day, and he did not acknowledge the day or want to be around her that day. She said that they had a series of texts during this time where they were arguing. Taylor said that Messer told her he had shot someone in the hand on the east side of Indianapolis. She says Messer never talked about Delphi murders with her. Since their breakup, she does not know if he was reconnected with Westphal or Holder. She said that Messer had a fake Facebook page where he was posing as a, quote, Chinese guy. He has told her he has killed before, but she says he lies so much she does not know if it's true or not. So at this point, it notes that Taylor is currently pending counterfeit charges as a result for the January 18th search warrant in which Messer was charged with methamphetamines related charges, currently on home detention. Good God. All right, that's a lot. Huh? Oh, good for you. Woof. Good for you. Atta girl. Um, yeah, CIs, right? They all lie a lot. Yeah. God, there's so much more left here. Oh, for fuck's sake, I gotta go. Hang on. There's no way I'm gonna get through all of this, guys. Hmm. Let's see. Anybody? Comments? Questions? Anything? Anybody? So tired. Um, yeah, it's true. Um, yeah, I mean, so the fact that they all lie a lot, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is separating out the wheat from the chaff here. Um, but hang on a second. Ugh. So, I wonder what to do here. Let me think. I know that this is like, I don't want to be a jerk and leave everybody on a cliffhanger, but I do have to actually go do some things. Um, but I want to read through the rest of it with you all. Um, and I need to do some more redactions. So I'm not trying to leave anybody hanging, but I do think that I'm going to have to go because it's 2 hours have gone by. And so I'm trying to think of, 1 second. So but here's the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and this might be pertinent, and I might be able, and this might, so here's my thought. I actually reached out. So let me put this aside for a moment, and trust and believe I'll go through it and redact it appropriately and whatever. Okay. But I think that there's enough there for the cranks to get cranking. Because there's a lot of information coming in about Delphi in light of the transcripts finally being released, etc. And so there's, again, so this is more of the information incoming, and again, I will share it. But aside from all of that, I have not heard back from Stacey Juliana about any of the movement. And also, I want to ask when you all, or if you all would be interested in a live with Andrew Baldwin later this week. Anyone? Who? Oh, yeah, right. So would anybody be interested in a chat with Mr. Baldwin? Anybody? Okay, because I reached out to him. Ugh, it's been a while now. Well, I reached out to him after the trial concluded. But then after the transcripts came out, I was like, I'm going to try to reach back out to him. And so he had a trial, I guess, but then he sent me a text this morning saying that he's game. So in the evening, yeah. Yep. Yep. No, it would be in the evening. So this would be something different, right? So this would be a live stream with Mr. Baldwin because I have questions. And I also, and I haven't talked to him, and I will beforehand, because I don't know if he has information. I don't know how much information he has about anything at this point, except for, what questions I have for him about the trial, about the about some issues with Gull that have, been brought to the forefront, about what was and was not allowed in, about doing some Monday morning quarterbacking. But also, I think that people want to hear from him now that everything is with the appeals court. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. Right. So I'm thinking now if he backs out, he can't back out now. So it'll be later this week. What is this week? I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, what? Don't talk about Duran Duran in this chat in a bad way. Don't you do it. Oh, Andy and Andy. Got it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe he won't after I talk to him though. I have questions. I have questions. I have concerns. I have comments. Um, you know, and I don't know how much he's going to be willing to answer, but who cares, right? All eyes. Andy is Baldwin's handler. What does that mean? What? Oh, maybe. Yeah. I guess you'll have to find out. But it's I really am interested in focusing on the pretrial hearings because I think that awful. It's really, I mean, he knows he's going to take some heat, I think. I mean, he can't not know, for Monday morning quarterbacking from the likes of people like me. But I'm a journalist. I get to ask him. I'm a reporter. I'm not a lawyer. I get to ask him insensitive, unlawyerly questions. And he's he seemed down with it. He said, like I said, he was supposedly in a trial this week that resolved. So um, I'm just trying to think of a good night to do it, and I will have to sort it out with him. Um, but my point in bringing that up is that I wonder if he would be willing to comment on whether or not this is a thing, this 12-page report is a thing or not. Or I mean, I know it's a thing, but if he can confirm, I'm assuming he can confirm it because he was the lawyer on the case, right? Wasn't he? He was the author of the Franks memo, right? Mm, 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 mm. Mhm. I don't know what that means. So uh, I want to thank people honestly again for super chats because that's nice. That's nice. Thank you. And again, thank you. I know that this has been resolved. Thank you, Lowlight, for doing that. Yes. Yeah, he won that one, right? So um, actually, that's a great idea. Uh, yeah. So anyway, I mean, listen, um, I aim to please. No, I don't. I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want to find out what happened. So I'll set that up. Again, I don't know when. Um, I'm open to any and all people's input on that. And I'm probably going to have to implement. Fuck it. It's my channel, right? I can do whatever. I can do what I want. Um, all right. So anyway, so that's coming up. Let me just see where my cell phone is. Bup, bup, bup. Ugh. All right. Well, please stand by. Hang on. Uh, no comment. So I've gotten no comment back from Stacy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Out here doing the Lord's work. Thank you so much. So that's it. That is all. And thank you for joining me here on Chat and Chew. Maybe I'll do a see you next Tuesday tomorrow and we'll finish this motherfucker off. Does that sound good? We'll finish this thing off and then we can sort out a time for Mr. Baldwin later in the week. So tell your family, tell your friends, and hide your kids, hide your wife. and so on. So I'll work on an appropriately redacted copy of this. I'll set up a see you next Tuesday for tomorrow. I will have this better organized, but as of now, no comment from Stacy. Jody is just not even around anymore, so let's go straight to Carroll County for any and all stuff. And I think that there's transcripts reading, right? Okay. All right. So you know what? As always, I would ask all of you